Welcome back to another video. This one's going to be a little bit different, probably a little controversial, but hey, you know, y'all been wanting a video from me. I've been going for some time, some family stuff, and I figured I'd bring one back. Did a video earlier on demo, what my thoughts are on the subscription stuff. Make sure you check that video out. Before we go any further, please remember, hit that like button below. That helps out my channel, trying to build it up. Trying to get to be as many subscribers some of these other YouTubers out there. I really appreciate all the support. Make sure you hit the thumbs up down there, subscribe, press the notification bell so y'all know. Also, I have a Discord. Please get in my Discord. That link's below in the description. That covers a lot of projects that we're in right now, and also some things going on in the crypto market. Trying to add some new things. I got a dinner section of what we're eating for dinner for people who like to cook and show off what they're doing. Call of Duty, hunting, fishing, and different things like that. So for those people who are new to my channel, welcome. Check those things out. Another thing I'll make sure I tell y'all, none of this is financial advice. None of these YouTubers know what the hell they're talking about. Let's be honest. Nobody really saw this big delay in a alt season, or if we're going to have an alt season. And that's what we're going to discuss today. This is my first day off on a weekend when I had nothing going on at all in months. And I sat here all day watching videos, trying to do some research on what I'm about to talk about in this upcoming video. I got the demo one knocked out earlier to get that knocked out, and I have been sitting here concentrating, watching numerous videos, trying to get different people's different aspects on how we feel about DePin projects and how do we feel about an alt season, or if no alt season is even coming. So just remember, though, what I watch and what my feelings are, just kind of it covers what I'm going to do for the rest of this year, going into next year. And some of y'all can choose to follow me. Some of y'all can say I'm out my mind, and y'all can trade opposite of me. You're not hurting my feelings. We all don't know what the hell's about to happen. So let's get started. So one thing I want to show y'all is the first, I call it the first real big bullish halving. July 2016 was the first halving of Bitcoin. How long did that bull market last? Really? You can argue the peak of it was 518 days, which was roughly about a year and a half. But again, that was the peak of that bull run, because you had it where it dipped down and then also kind of came back up. Some people probably would have said, oh, it's going to go back up, take profit, don't take profit. But either way, you're looking at 535 days here. Then you had the next halving. May 11th, 2020, it starts riding back up. And guess how long this one lasts? About 550 days. That's what we call a pattern. So when's the next 550 days from the last halving in April 2024? You're looking at end of October, beginning of November. So if that can be an indication, if people want to say, hey, the cycles that follow the cycles, here you go. I tend to still want to say, I think this one's going to be different. So moving on, look, I've made it no secret, and I've heard things about it. I've been watching videos for some time now. Been in the game, since 2016, 2017. And you hear everybody say, basically it's two different camps. And of course, there's only two choices, but you have two different camps. The cycles are the cycles, and no matter what happens, the cycles are the cycles. Every cycle has an event, whether it's Luna getting crashing, FTX debacle, people losing billions of dollars, COVID, China at one time once a week was banning Bitcoin, and there was always something going on, and the cycle still held. And they're trying to say that's the same thing's going to happen this time. There's always some country threatening to bomb some other country. Somebody's always getting bombed, and the cycle still held. I just think it's different this time. And you're kind of seeing that right now to a point. You're seeing Bitcoin dominance last a little bit longer than it normally does, and we're going to look at those charts in a second. You're also, you have ETFs, which you didn't have before. So people, your mom and your pops that just can go through a regular stockbroker, they can get into the crypto game, whether it's Bitcoin or whatever it is, and for a lot easier. They don't have to worry about a Coinbase account or KYC or can I get this token on this exchange? They want crypto exposure. You know, a lot of stockbrokers only know Bitcoin. It's really the only ETF making a huge difference right now. And I tend to say you're still going to continue to see money come in from Bitcoin, from those sources. And I read a good article a while back that said it doesn't matter what ETFs come soon because there's only so much money to go into these things. And it doesn't matter if there's 5 more ETFs that come in, you're not going to see people, mom and pop, aren't going to go and put money into an ETF for XRP. They don't know what XRP is. You didn't see, other than the initial push when Ethereum came out with that ETF, you didn't see this gigantic push for that. But you still seeing this money coming in Bitcoins, the inflows and the outflows and stuff like that. I don't want to get too deep in all that. My point is that me personally, I just think it's different, and you're seeing that it's different this time. So one of the videos that I watched today was a guy named Benjamin Cohen, and he's got 900,000 subscribers. So apparently he's doing pretty well, better than me. And I sat in and watched. He has some long videos. Apparently he took Grumpy's class of video making. And I sat in and watched a lot of videos. And one chart that he pointed out to me that, hey, you learn something new every day, was this Bitcoin dominant chart that's you can look at. And here we have market cap dominance, Bitcoin market cap dominance. And we all know how the alt season works is people start taking money out of Bitcoin, take profits normally, start putting that into the alts. And to see it actually stretched out like this was pretty fascinating just for me because, again, I'm always learning. I'm not a big TA nerd. I don't really do a lot of this kind of stuff, but it's something that I found very interesting. He had a lot of positive feedback on it, so I thought I'd bring it to y'all. This is one that I just did. It looks very similar to his, but mine has the dates kind of stretched out right here. But back in 2017, 2018, you saw where the Bitcoin dominance really dropped off, and this is when your alt season was. And then you had the Bitcoin dominance, whatever you call it, the bear market, whatever, but eventually the Bitcoin dominance builds back up. And then again, you have this alt season come in. Now you have what we're still going through is the Bitcoin dominance going up. And you look at the days, and you're looking at almost 1,100 days for this build back up. And here we go. Now we're at about 1,000 days, depending on where you want to start it at, if I fidget it around, which means you likely have about another 90, 100 days before we can see possibly any start of an alt season. Now, again, this is also going against what I just said 5 minutes ago, that this cycle might be different. And if the cycle is different, then some of the stuff might be different. You can't go into time frames. But you're seeing this longer, more drawn out Bitcoin that you also have to remember what the economy was in the United States and around the world. Things were different. But just something I just wanted to show y'all, bring some facts to y'all. You look at this time frame, and you look at this time frame, and we're gonna look at another chart in a little while where this also kind of matches up with a different time, with a different chart where it's about kind of similar. You know, one reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm seeing a lot of people talk, you know, about, hey, we're not gonna have an alt season at all, or, you know, even me just last week in my live last Thursday, I'm sitting there telling people that you're gonna watch me start kind of pivoting away from DCAing in the amount of alts that I'm DCAing in every payday. Every payday I put in so much towards Cardano and towards VET and towards Solana, Peak, and some of these other ones. And you're going to start seeing me pivot. I'm telling you, I'm pivoting back towards Bitcoin. That maybe a lot of us were wrong. And another guy who I followed that I watched also was a guy named Virtual Bacon. And I'm watching this guy for hours today, and he makes so much sense. And it's kind of some of the stuff I've been telling y'all, but the way he puts it together, he makes it sound like he knows what he's talking about versus the way I sound, where like I don't know for sure how to use toilet paper. You know, it's just different. So watching Mr. Virtual Bacon right here was quite interesting. And he's kind of in this boat also that, hey, we still got an alt season coming. Just be patient. Again, sometime later in the year. You know, but one thing I want to address is I see people making comments about oh, all we got left is 3 months left in the bull market, 4 months left in the bull market. And I argue with that all day is all bets are off right now. You can't sit there. If this economy is still struggling, like it's still going, we still got wars going on. I just think the timeline's off. We have new crypto legislation happening in the United States. You just had XRP settle, had to pay, despite what some people said. The judge did not accept the XRP settlement, so the XRP had to end up paying. But either way, I know that I told you so. But either way, I still say with this new president that's in the United States, he's only been there 6 months. I understand crypto's worldwide. Nobody go make any kind of comments in the bottom, but we haven't seen the momentum yet that I think we can possibly see. Now, the question is that momentum continue strictly for Bitcoin, or like some people say, with alts? Watching several of this guy's videos, and he seems to really know what the hell he's talking about more than I do, but he tends to believe kind of what Alex Becker talked about a while back that I told y'all, where the boomer tokens is really all he would mess with. Your bigger, especially Ethereum. You can't write off Ethereum, but he's even shown where a lot of people don't have Bitcoin because they all believe the same thing that I believe, is that if you're looking for either generational wealth, whatever you want to call it, or making some decent money in crypto, you don't mess with Bitcoin. That's what I've always kind of said, where he showed that if we were just really stuck with crypto and not played around with all these alts, especially the shit coins, as he calls them, probably would have did pretty well. And that's another reason why I'm pivoting. And I know I'm kind of bouncing around here because I don't really know how to put this all together, because as I'm even saying it out loud, I'm even confusing myself, where I promise I haven't even started drinking yet. But there's a part of me that's saying to people, be patient. There still will be some type of alt season. I just think it's going to be different. He says it. The guy before that I showed y'all said it. 3 other people who I watched said it also. It's whether or not is it going to be as strong as a push of an alt season like we've seen in the past. You have people making comments and people on both these guys' Twitters and in their YouTube videos saying, I'm just taking my loss as a loss right now, because if they still believe that Bitcoin's got legs to keep going, I'd rather take a loss with my alts now, put all that into Bitcoin and just ride that up. But I still say, if it's 100,000 now and it goes up to 150,000, if it goes up to 150,000 this cycle, how much are you really making? Where alts, depending on where you put in alts at, you could still make something. I don't know. I don't know where this is going. But again, if you go back and look at this chart, you're going to see roughly around, I'm going to say not November-ish. October, November-ish alt season. I know some people don't want to hear that. Some people are ready right now for alt season. Depending on what projects you're on DePin, October might be a pretty good time. So one of those guys I followed also said all they do is follow as purchasing Bitcoin because they still believe you still got to stack Bitcoin and start stacking Bitcoin. And what indicator they use? Simply the simple moving average. On a week-long chart, you have a 20 and 50 moving average, and they're strictly watching it. And one thing he explained is that as long as you're still seeing Bitcoin above this 50-week trend line, we know we still got Bitcoin in its full bull market. So again, this is the weekly. I want everybody to understand this is the weekly. It's touched this line a couple of times, also moves up and down a little bit. But since that hard kind of crash in 2023 right here, it has kind of held its own right here. It's kind of held that line in that trend line. The question is if you're buying in late and you're buying up here, if it hit to come down, are you going to take that loss? That's the question you got to worry about. What he's trying to say, the guy I'm watching, is maybe not. you know, do you want to sell here or do you want to sell down here? Same thing down here, 21, 22. We started seeing those sales and it dropped below this. This is 20,000 right here. And this is when it went down to 18,000 right here. Yeah, we didn't really want to hold on to that. Now, another chart that one of the guys had was this chart, which is like Bitcoin, crypto cap divided by USDT or something like that. But it was an indicator that every time that this has hit the 0.25 level, again, going back to 2017, 2020, 2021, 2022, 23, 24, every time it's hit 0.25 is when the altcoin season started. Now, again, I'm going back, reversing on what I said earlier. If for this to work, you would have to say that you're using the same indicators you've used in previous cycles. But the funny thing is, following this, you're looking at a November to December altcoin season starts, which again, this is from somebody completely different, but it kind of goes back into line of what I was talking about earlier, where when you look at the day frames of how many days it was in between November, December. You look at where we're at now, 3 months from now, following this, another 90 days. Now you're into November almost. Again, 2 different cycles, 2 different people, 2 different charts, 2 different ways of looking at it. And then you could throw it all out the window and say, we're not going to have an alt season at all. It's your guess is as good as mine. I'm just trying to bring out some different positivity and hope. So look, we're going to pivot a little bit. Basically, I'm going to tell you, both these guys have said the same thing. While they see an alt season happening, they both say they see an alt season happen towards the end of the year. They also say that if you would have been putting into Bitcoin this entire time, in addition to some alts, but still had a very good play on Bitcoin, it would have worked out for you in the long run. Well, you know what? And the sun comes up every day. Tell me something we don't know. There's no secret that if we were putting back into Bitcoin back when it was down to 16,000, 17,000 a year or two ago, we would be doing very well. I won't lie to y'all. It caught me off guard. I was listening to Garrett Soloway and these people saying that Bitcoin was going down to 9 and 10 grand. So I was taking all my capital, the little bit of extra capital I had, and I was throwing it into alts. And some of my alts right now are what I was buying for, paying for them back then. And then when Bitcoin just started kind of shooting up, I kind of kept waiting and not buying it at 15, 16, 18 grand, 20 grand, because, hey, Bitcoin's supposed to go back to 8,000. Hey, Bitcoin zigs when everybody thinks it's going to zag, and we know that. All right, so I'm in the process of editing both these videos I made tonight, realizing they're both very long. This one's right at 20 minutes already, and the other one was going to be almost 40 minutes. I wasn't making an hour-long video because I know you're not going to watch that. So I'm going to split this into 2 parts. So to summarize this first video, we don't know what the hell's going to happen. There's a lot of people saying alt season. Now, every time there's a big jump in Bitcoin price, you see all the YouTubers come out, alt season, alt season, alt season, buy these certain altcoins, buy these certain altcoins. You know, I made one video for fun about buying some WIF and, you know, 1 or 2 other tokens, VET and stuff like that, because that's what I was buying. And basically, I tell y'all, I'm just basically telling y'all what I'm doing. I'm not telling everybody to go buy nothing. This is what I'm doing. I'm bringing y'all along for the ride. I don't know what's going to happen to alt season. I am pivoting to more DCAing into Bitcoin. I don't care if it's 100,000, 110,000 next payday. You're going to see me pivot. I've been buying alts, buying alts, buying alts. I might still buy a little bit of peak only because I was buying at $40 and $50. And right now with it being, 40, 50 cents, 60 cents. And right now with it being at 8 cents, I can buy a whole lot more for 20 bucks and bring that average cost down. That is the only reason why I'm investing in peak at this point. It's got one main project on it, Silencio, one other little project I'm looking at right now that somebody told me about, which is just a copycat of 6 other projects out there doing the same thing, smart plugs. I don't know, but I'm pivoting more towards Bitcoin. Hey, if there's an altcoin I have loaded up on my alts for the last 3 years, 2 years, whatever it was since the last bear market, and I'm just going to ride it. That's all I can do. And we'll see. So hopefully y'all got a little bit of heads and tails of this video. I just watched back and edited it, and I'm confused. And I'm the one that made the video. I promise I haven't been drinking yet. I need a drink after watching that. You know, this is one of the videos where I know what I was trying to say and get across to y'all, but maybe I'm not the best person to explain it to y'all. It sums up that I think it's gonna be alt season. I just don't think it's gonna be as crazy as it was in the years past. In the story, I think it's gonna be later in the year, and I think this bull market in total is gonna be longer than some people are thinking. November, December is gonna be over with. I don't believe that. Maybe the Bitcoin dominant, constantly going up might slow down, but not the full bull market like some people are thinking. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So that's it for this video. I'm done. And now let me go work on the second half of this video, which is going to be a completely different video now. If y'all can follow along with all that. Y'all have a good weekend. See y'all later.